just say,
Welcome to the NBA Files here on RBN TV. I'm host Felicia Michelle, and I am sitting here with Mr. Everett Terry and Mr. Kwame Fisher-Jones.
Facts.
All right, so let's just jump right into it. So something crazy happened yesterday, like Paul George landing at OKC. Kwame, how big is this?
it took everything in my body not to tell. I think I did text you.
Yes, you did text
at like midnight. But I have the Felicia curfew where I don't send anything to Felicia between the hours of 11.
Right, we don't want no problems.
We don't want nobody in house shoes and basketball shoes coming out. But Everett is open season as far as Texas is concerned. This is crazy.
It's big.
It's big, but it's also initially I thought Russell was going to take the easy road out and not be the superstar that demanded help, that demanded a roster full. But he doesn't have to because Presti is showing people how to GM. He's showing them how to do this. So adding Paul George to that roster is huge. It allows them to compete at a high level. I still don't think they come out of the West.
Nope.
But it allows them to be headed in the right direction. But the bigger thing it does, and I made sure to write this down, I love it because it exposes Danny Ainge and bad GMs from top to bottom. Danny Ainge, why didn't he get this deal done? Just stop. We've seen Jimmy Butler get traded for a rookie that got injured, a rookie who couldn't get off the bench, an unknown name and a pick, right? We've seen Paul George get traded for a dude that got crossed over by an 11-year-old. That sealed his fate, by the way.
Probably.
No, probably not. Facts. Got crossed over by an 11-year-old. That was the end of Victor Oladipo. And Sabonis' son, right? That's what got them Paul George. That's what got Minnesota Jimmy Butler. Why couldn't Boston get it done? Because Danny Ainge doesn't know how to GM. He can't negotiate a deal.
I'm not gonna say he can't negotiate a deal because every trade that Danny Ainge has ever done, he never loses. He does not lose in his trades. That's exactly what I said. He doesn't lose in trades. I think what happens is he's too passive, and I think what he realized is that what they need to beat a Cleveland, even in getting a Paul George on a one-year rental, wasn't going to be enough, and he didn't want to give up assets that they can then trade down the road for somebody else. The one thing we know about the NBA is guys move constantly. We didn't see Chris Paul going to the Rockets. We didn't see Paul George going to OKC.
No, we did, but we knew those moves were going to take place. But here's the thing, and I want to go back to your point. I'm going to give it back to you in a second. You can't get to $1,000 if you don't get $100 first.
Fair.
So he can't build a team if he doesn't get a player first.
I don't disagree with you. But what I look at is I look at the fact that Boston, he put together the big 3/4 with Rondo, if you want to look at Rondo. They won a championship. He mortgaged most of what he considered the future to win now. He won. But he found a way to maintain competitiveness with a roster of aged veterans that he then traded to get picks that keep the team relevant. So he never had to go full rebuild like the Sixers did. He was able to keep them around in the mix, always competing at a high level. I think for those who want instant gratification, absolutely he's blown it. But for people looking at the long game, because you remember, LeBron may have 2, maybe 3 years left at this level.
Kwame deep side.
That's fine. LeBron may have 2, maybe 3 years left at this level, and then you're going to start to see him wilt a little bit. Fine. Here's something that might be interesting to you. There was rumors that they went to LeBron and said, listen, we can pull the trigger on the trade to go get Paul George if you agree to re-up. And he couldn't agree to that. So the concern becomes, well, okay, so you don't want us to go and get a guy who on the wing is a perimeter defender will be an upgrade.
He doesn't
exactly. And that's what Danny Ainge saw. Paul George doesn't put them over the top. See, at the end of the day, it'd be great to get to the finals, but if you're gonna get swept, what difference does it make? You're only gonna be second place.
You're living in extremes, and
I'm not living in extremes.
Well, you're saying the alternative is getting. Hold on, you're saying the alternative is getting swept. No, Paul George. It's that old action. Paul George shows you you're serious about winning. So that locker room walks in and they see Paul George versus, and I like Jaylen Brown, but I'm using him as an example, or Marcus Smart. They know, okay, this team isn't, for lack of a better phrase, effing around. They're serious about this thing. You add Paul George, you perhaps add another player, and then you can compete. Now, back to LeBron James. We argued last week ad nauseum about the effectiveness of Paul George because I told you I didn't think he put teams over the top. Thought he was a good piece, but I didn't think he could put a team over the top.
And I think that's what Ainge saw. Ainge saw that even if you add a Paul George and a Gordon Hayward, and they may still get Gordon Hayward, does that make them good enough to really beat the Cavs? Probably not. It makes them competitive.
It's a step, though.
But it's a step.
He's scared to take that step.
But here's the thing. You give up all these assets for Paul George, and it ties into the OKC deal. You give up all these pieces to go get Paul George. There is zero guarantee that OKC keeps him next year. He didn't sign a re-up and extension. So if they end up losing Paul George in the offseason from OKC and he goes and signs with LA, which is what everybody's been saying literally for like the last 6-7 weeks, he ends up going to OKC. it doesn't hurt OKC as much because OKC is used to having Russell Westbrook playing with a bunch of slop and nothing. Oladipo was a guy who didn't pan out while he was there, so you end up getting an upgrade for 1 year.
The video killed.
Right, you end up getting the upgrade for 1 year, and now he gets to go back to Indiana where he played college ball, etc. Whatever, fine, great. But now the bigger thing is, does Russell Westbrook at this point go back to, we're going to need another piece next year and have to retool? Absolutely. The big thing is they're trying to convince Russell Westbrook to re-up, to sign there and not be a free agent. Getting Paul George is an upgrade over Oladipo that says, listen, we're committed to winning. We want you to bring in a guy that's going to help make us better. So they go and they do that. Okay, if he stays, maybe they get Paul George to stay. But if he doesn't, then now you're in a situation where now you may lose Russell Westbrook and Paul George and have nothing to show for it. And that's what Ainge was worried about. I don't want to trade assets away for a guy that may only be here for 1 year.
Let's move on, though. Let's move on. Okay, so another big move. Chris Paul going to Houston after being called a fraud now. So does this change the balance of power?
Only if they land Melo.
That's not happening.
Listen, hear me for a second. They have to land another piece. They're not good enough in the West with Chris Paul to compete against Golden State or San Antonio.
Just say that first part again for me.
They're not good enough with Chris Paul
He agrees
to beat the Spurs.
I didn't ask you further
Listen,
on. I just
hold
said
on, but I was talking. Let me finish my point. Look, I think Chris Paul went to the wrong team in Texas. I think he would have been a better fit in San Antonio. He would have been on a team that was guaranteed to get to the conference finals.
Popovich didn't want him.
Stop it. It wasn't that Popovich didn't want him. They didn't want to give up the pieces that it took to get the deal done.
Popovich didn't want him. Popovich could get that deal done any day.
Maybe. We don't know that. Unless Popovich comes out and says, we don't know that. We're assuming. Here's what I know. He went to the wrong team in Texas, and the whole premise is that going to a team like the Spurs, he was guaranteed to play in the conference finals. He was guaranteed to have a chance to play against Golden State to go to the finals. And if they beat Golden State, they're probably the favorites to win the title. Him going to the Rockets means that he'll run up and down the floor. He'll throw 35 alley-oops a game. You know, guys will get to get dunks, and it'll look really fun. And him and Harden will play well off each other. And Harden may have an MVP-type year. You know, whatever. But at the end of the day, they may be a second-round exit at best. Maybe even first round, depending on matchups. And it sucks because I think with that talent, they don't have enough right now. There's still another piece away. Same thing with OKC. Same thing with like 5 or 6 other teams. There's still another piece away. They need to add one more guy.
Well, there's a couple of things. This is a two-part question.
Sure.
The first part is, for me, the breakup. The breakup is very messy, which gives me an insight into the relationship.
You're talking about with the Clippers?
With the Clippers.
Okay.
All right. Now, before we go to Houston, that's what I said it's a two-part question. The first part to me is, how does Houston change the balance of power by adding Paul? Well, first I need to look at Paul's resume, which I've covered ad nauseum. The big thing for me, though, is my criticism of Paul is the acclaim has never matched the achievement. He's been presumed to be this fantastic player, and he wears people down. People do not like him. His teammates do not like him. That's been a
because he's competitive and he hates people who don't take.
You can give me the reasons why, but the fact still remains.
Listen, people hated Jordan too.
Not necessarily.
Hated Jordan.
Not necessarily.
Hated Jordan. Phil Cartwright hated Michael Jordan.
And you can throw people hated Jordan. Jordan hated everybody, but Jordan won. He doesn't win.
He still hated him.
Yeah, but you know what? I can talk, and he won. Give me some more winners that I can say he won about.
Kobe, before they got Pau Gasol,
Kobe he was still a 3-time title. He was still a 3-time champion. So the point still remains. Everything you throw out there, they had a resume that dictated they won. You cannot be hated and lose. You know what I mean? You can get on my damn nerves, but if you can do things that make me better, I will tolerate you. I may not accept you, but I will tolerate you. You won't get invited to the reunion on TNT years later.
Oh, like Ray Allen.
Exactly. But you know what?
But they won.
Exactly.
But they won. But
so that's my point. Paul is a dude that wears his teammates down. He gets hated and he doesn't bring out any benefits. Now, the flip side of that is, and I know you're about to come here, just let's say this. No, it doesn't change the balance of power because it's going to expose James Harden as one of the poorest off-the-ball players we've seen in years.
So that leads me to my next question. So what will Paul's legacy be as a player? I mean, you're sitting there saying he doesn't produce.
I think personally it's too early to call it right now. I think you need to see what he does. I think it's too early to call it. You need to see what happens with him in Houston. You already know that D'Antoni took guys like Steve Nash, who played zero defense, and turned him into a 2-time MVP because of the style of offense that he ran. This feeds great into what Chris Paul does well: distribute, facilitate with a nice blend of scoring.
Well, talk to me about his teammates.
But at the same token, I don't know if playing with a guy like James Harden, who is an anomaly compared to any other player that Steve Nash ever played with, is going to be the best fit to complement his game. I think the one piece of it that does matter is Chris Paul said that the reason he was okay with this move is because of the fact that he didn't have to be the primary ball handler night in, night out. There was a guy who could handle the ball and distribute and allow him to play off the ball, which running off screens actually feeds into what he does well because he loves pick and roll. So you set off ball screens, let him come around the screen and get open looks. It might play to his benefits. We've never seen Chris Paul playing that way, but we know from the way he runs the offense that it's not something that's so inconceivable. And D'Antoni's going to get very creative. I mean, he's a great offensive mind, terrible defensive mind, but a great offensive mind. And I'd be surprised if he didn't come up with something that plays to that.
First thing, we know a couple things with Chris Paul. He's going to get hurt.
That's also true.
It sure is at one point in the day somebody.
What do you got with that voodoo on him?
Well,
No,
I mean, it's
Chris Paul and Blake Griffin are known to do one or two things: get hurt every year and lose in the
things.
playoffs before the third round.
There's a couple things that happen every, and people, I'll back it down for you. I'll make it very simple. You're going to go to the bathroom at some point today. Chris Paul's going to get hurt at some point in the season. Those are two certainties that are going to happen. It may be crude and crass. But the bigger thing is, Chris Paul left money on the table to go to Houston. He left money on the table.
Well, as soon as he signed, did you know who else turned around and then re-upped in Clipper Land?
Blake Griffin.
Literally, the moment he was gone.
Again, they can't stand that damn dude. Period. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. No, they'll be better without him. And we'll talk about that later. I know you disagree, but let me finish my point, man.
Go ahead.
So, we'll talk about that later. The big thing is, like I said, on paper, the Clippers were better than the Rockets. And you mentioned Steve Nash. Steve Nash wasn't in the twilight of his career. Paul has maybe another year left.
Disagree.
And
he's 30.
That's fine.
Stop it.
He's 30 with wear and tear and known for getting hurt. 30 wear and tear in the Western Conference, known for getting hurt, playing against some of the best guards who ever played in the NBA. And the flip side of that, the one that nobody ever wants to talk about, is the fact that James Harden didn't get along with another dude who people didn't think was in the twilight of his career, and Dwight Howard. So the moment
they're two different positions,
but they're the same damn personality. And as soon as it goes awry,
Dwight has a malaise, lackadaisical. I don't really care.
Dwight is a 3-time defensive player of the year.
What does that mean?
He is a top rebounder in the league, even at this point, playing with a bad back. The mantra on him is different because Dwight is a center. If Dwight was 5'9", a la Chris Paul, people would give him a pass. That's the difference. Nobody
Howard doesn't care about winning.
And Chris Paul does?
Yes.
So why did he leave the Clippers? Were the Clippers not a super team? They had 3 All-Stars. He went to a team with a guy in James Harden who is a ball hog, with a coach who's never won a title, and left a team from a coach who had won a title, and he was mad because his son was on the team.
Listen, they were not a team that was going to be able to win the way they were currently constructed.
Neither is Houston.
But sometimes change of scenery helps.
With Chris Paul, it didn't.
Well, listen, like I said, I think that the move was necessary because the Clippers, as we saw staying status quo, they were still struggling to get out of the first round. What I think is the mistake that Chris Paul made is he went to the wrong team in Texas.
So he didn't care about winning.
I guess we will.
Don't know how much of that was his fault.
I guess we will see, guys. I guess we'll see in the near future. Keep watching NBA Files here on RBN TV.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Cookin' Uncorked.
It is.
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30 every Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
Hi, I'm Jim Cucinotti. I'm inviting you to watch my show on the Halo Health Network on RBN. We cover everything you always wanted to know about health but was afraid to ask. We have interesting guests who can help you how to live healthier, how you can be smarter about your health, how you can help your family live healthier and be healthier. We are on Tuesdays from 9:30 Eastern Time to 10 o'clock. Please come and watch us.
If you have a story or product that you'd like to share with our viewers as a guest on the Morning Coffee Show, please contact us at info@radiovisionnetwork.com.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Welcome back to the NBA Files here on RBN TV. So we just talked about Paul's legacy, and he's packing up and he's moving. So now another guy who's packing up and moving, Phil Jackson. So he's out. The Knicks said bye. So Everett, do you think that Phil, this is a mutual thing? Because he said it was mutual, or do you think that they were like, bye pops, see your grandpa? Sorry, Kwame, I was talking to you when I said pop up. What do you think, Everett?
I think it was a strong blend of both. I think that what ended up happening was Phil looked around and saw that his legacy as a winner was being tarnished drastically as a GM.
Interesting.
I think that the fact that people questioned his moves, the way he handled situations from Melo to Kristaps to even drafting Frank the Tank, people questioned a lot of his ability. Now, I like the Kristaps draft because of clearly how he's turned out as a player. But even still, people in New York wanted to roast him the day they drafted him over guys that were on the board. I think that it came to a place where James Dolan felt he needed to make a move because he was losing his fan base. People were getting pissed off. He probably got tons of hate on the letters. And he didn't want to have Charles Oakley trying to run out the stands and choke him again on national TV.
Charles Oakley, is he not even allowed in there anymore?
I'm sure he fixed that.
Charles Oakley is bigger than James Dolan, and it's funny that you said Phil Jackson was the reason why they're losing the fans. James Dolan is the reason why they're losing the fans. I've used this now 10,000 times. They changed the plates, they changed the decor, they changed the waitresses, they changed the menu, they changed the parking lot, but the food still tastes like dog doo-doo because you still got the same chef. The chef is still there. I have an issue with this, and I'm going to direct this specifically to you.
Okay.
Not with you, but with this. 11 rings. So as a player, that kind of screams you know a little bit about basketball.
A little bit.
But I want to go a little further back. This man drove a van to games when he was coaching in the CBA, all right? To places like South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming. He helped guys play basketball that may have never reached the NBA or never been a factor in the NBA. He allowed them to pursue their dreams. He's a different type of thinker, all right? But he's accomplished. I have a serious issue with people disrespecting his basketball resume, which should be revered, and his immaculate basketball IQ. You may not agree with the moves, but the last I checked, the last All-Star that the Knicks drafted was David Lee. So that's going on 12, 15, 16 years. We both agree Kristoff will probably be an All-Star.
Absolutely.
And I think Frank Nicolino will be an All-Star.
I like him.
So when you look back and you say, okay, this is a team that's been mired in mediocrity, and their best players on the team were guys that he drafted, you start to think maybe you got to find a way to get used to that. You got to find a way to accept that. It's not. We talked about Chris Paul being difficult to get along with. You know, there's this perception that talent is easy to deal with. I can tell you it's not. You know, but talent is worth it. That was for you. That was for you. Talent is, but let me finish. Talent is worth it. Talent is worth it. You will find a way to not so much appease that talent, but work with it. And Phil is a talent. Yeah, he fell asleep in the draft. Okay, I can tell you a lot of people have done that, but he still managed to draft the right guy. And Carmelo, as a dude that hasn't made it to an NBA Finals, yet alone competed in an NBA title in back-to-back seasons, there was a point in his career where he was a rising comet. Now he just fell. You know, he went from top 5 to not being mentioned. I mean, I even do it better. You know, you went from top 5 to being garbage. No one's mentioning you, and I love Melo, so I can be real with him. They should have kept Phil. He's made mistakes, but his resume dictates more. And the fact that so many people hated him, so many people were against him, who had never had any success on the basketball court, boardroom, or in the coach's room, tells me I want to give this guy a shot. when the smoke clears, the horses leave the barn, all that good stuff, the two best players on that club were the guys he brought in. You can't change that. You can't change that. You can't just act like that doesn't happen. And talent is worth it.
Okay. So, the old adage, those who can do, and those who can't do, teach. He's a great teacher. He's a great thinker. He's a great philosopher. But like most guys, it's very hard unless you're Pat Riley, maybe Larry Bird, to transition from being a player, an athlete, a coach, to a guy who also then has success as a GM. It's very, very hard to do because there's different levels, different ways of thinking, different ways of evolution and how you evaluate talent and what you do to build a team. When you're a coach, you deal with the pieces that you're given and you build around that. When you're a GM, you're building talent and have to trust that the coach can put them in the best positions. He might not have the same mind level of thinking as you. I think the biggest issue is that Phil Jackson still wants to run an antiquated offense with players that don't fit. And he's trying to grab players that fit in a league that is all driven by star power and talent. Whereas the triangle wasn't hinged upon having to have the three best guys at their positions to run it. He had Jordan, Pippen, who was a Hall of Famer, and then another piece to facilitate the ball effectively. That's how the triangle ran, and he had success with it. He did it. He had Shaq, who was a Hall of Famer, Kobe, who was a rising star at the NBA, and then another player to facilitate it, whether it was a Glenn Rice, whether it was a Rick Fox, whether it was a Derek Fisher, whoever it was. The point I'm making, hold on.
Add context though.
The point I'm making is, though, yes, they won. But in all of those situations, the talent was there when Phil got there.
But the talent hadn't produced.
Hold on. Let me finish. The talent was there when he got there. When he got to Chicago, Jordan was already there. When he got to LA, Shaq and Kobe were already there. So it wasn't like he went and harvested any of this talent. He went out and took guys that were already there and made them great. The argument is that the New York Knicks were devoid of the talent needed for him to do what he needed to do. So now he has to become a GM, foreign territory to him because he's never been a GM, never been an executive of operations, never controlled a team. And now he has to think of how to get the right guys in right places. Well, when you're going up against guys like a Sam Preston, when you're going up against guys like a Larry Bird and a Pat Riley, who've done it for years and had success in building organizations, the Oklahoma City Thunder probably were the first team to organically grow a team full of superstars without drafting, without trading. They built their roster from the ground. They did it right. Larry Bird went and took an Indiana Pacers team that was mired in mediocrity forever and made them relevant again.
Okay.
This is what he did. So now you're looking at Phil and expecting him to do the same thing, but it's a process. And the New York Knicks are in a fan base that wants to win now. They're tired of being bad. They remind you of the Philadelphia Eagles. Tired of losing. They want to win, so they have to go out and invest all this money to be good.
The Knicks have won a title. The Eagles ain't won.
Touche.
You made a lot of great points, and you do that from time to time, but the thing is you miss the overall picture. And the overall picture is the fact that everybody you named is behind Phil as far as titles as coaches and players. Larry Bird did not win a title as a coach. All right? Pat Riley won a few as a coach. Maybe one or two as a player, but Phil is ahead of them in all.
Okay, so Phil is a claim. How many does he win as a GM? But Phil is out.
Hold on. How many does he win as a GM? Pat Riley.
The host said we were moving.
Okay. Fair enough. I just wanted to argue that his resume as a whole is actually better.
But unfortunately he's out. So now what, Kwame, what's this mean for Melo? I guess you don't even care because you call him hot garbage anyway.
Yeah.
No, I do care. I'm probably the only one on the set that cares. Why I'm in my baby please position. You know, when people show you who or tell you who they are, you should listen.
Absolutely.
Carmelo told me he was a champion. He was a multiple 50-game winner. He was better than LeBron his first few years in the NBA. And something happened. I wrote it down. You know what? I wrote that down too because I knew you were going to throw something at me. Circumstances determine character.
Fair enough.
So his character has been tested, and he stood up, and he's off the court, had some issues, Lala, I'm sure, which we'll get into as Felicia hosts her show Out of Bounds.
The other day. Woo, child.
Felicia will be discussing that on her new show, Out of Bounds, where she'll discuss athletes off the court. Be coming on at 2:30 on rvntv.tv. Shameless plug for you. But going back to my point,
facts.
I'm saddened at what has happened with Carmelo, and I don't know what it means for him. And can he save his career? He's lying about going to Houston. He's not going to go to Houston. He's trying to convince Knicks management to buy him out, so he promises not to go to an Eastern Conference team. That's why he's saying he'll go to Houston. We all know he's going to go to Cleveland with LeBron. But I don't know, and we talked about this. I said if you had Carmelo this year, maybe you beat Golden State because Kevin Durant is the one dude Carmelo can cover. But I don't know if he's ready to go back to who he used to be. I think he's become the guy, and it goes against everything you learn in life because you want to believe who people are when they tell you who they are, but
Who be the first time a man's lied about who he is?
okay, we're not going to diss the gender.
Just saying, it's not the
We're not going to diss
guys
the gender.
lied.
Women lie better than men, actually. Keep it 100 with you, but either there. Listen,
Well,
I don't
women lie,
even know.
men lie, numbers don't lie.
Fair enough.
I
don't know if goodbye. That's a lie in itself.
I'm
Listen,
honest with you. Deal with
Carmelo.
it.
I don't know. The bigger issue is if Carmelo's ready to go play second or third option behind any grown man. He's never in his entire basketball life played second or third fiddle with anybody. He was the man at Syracuse. He was the man in Denver. He was the man in New York. Now you're gonna ask him to go to a Cleveland, maybe a Houston where he's the third, fourth option. I think that's what's holding it up because I think he would want to go to a team where he feels like he's the guy that pushes him over the edge to win, but he wants to be the reason, not be a part of just somebody.
You know, it's an interesting point, and because we talked about Kevin Durant, and we talked about him not wanting to do that, and that's that alpha dog that we discussed,
right?
And we'll discuss that with Jimmy Butler, but that's that alpha dog we discussed.
Kevin Durant showed that alpha dog in the finals, though.
The hell he did. The hell he did.
Who won Game 3?
I don't give a. We are so not.
And that was the turning point in the series.
So not
Turning
going
point.
back down this road with you.
Dagger for the win.
So not that.
Dagger.
That dude played 50 to 50 games at half speed, so he can take it to the next level. He is. Look, we talk about alpha dogs. We talk about Russ Westbrook. We talk about Carmelo. We talk about dudes that are a pain in the ass to get along with, but find ways to get to the conference finals at some point in their career. I'm looking at a Kevin Durant.
Russell Westbrook will never make the Western Conference Finals.
You can say that, but that don't make it true.
Okay.
What we do know is this: Kevin Durant ain't never going to want to lead the team again. That's why he skated, and they just paid this player on his team the highest contract in history.
Okay. So I want to get to this question for
Facts.
Sassy today. I want to get to this question before we have to go to break. So what, Kwame? What's the next big move?
Isaiah Thomas is dark horse for the Knicks. I am praying to the basketball gods that he makes it, but I am saying a special prayer because I want to see you get all in a tizzy when I say this. Basketball gods, please find a way to get Rajon Rondo to the Clippers. Find a way to get Rajon Rondo to the Clippers. It's so necessary. It's so necessary. I argue with you and try to lead you the right way. That if you took Chris Paul and put
his eyes was closed, he really was praying, y'all.
Point guard on that Clippers team, presently construed, you put you could put Mike Bibby on that team.
Mike Bibby don't.
That's my point.
It up in the Big 3 league.
That's my point. Mike Bibby on that stuff that makes Rudolph's nose so red. But yet you put him right now on the Clippers. They will go to the Western Conference Finals. Lord, if you hear me, Black Jesus,
Rondo.
if you hear me, Rajon Rondo to the Clippers is so nuts. Please, LeBron. Please, Larry Bird, go to Dr. J, make it happen. Uncle Moses,
like he's dead.
Make it happen.
Talking about
AI's designated driver, please make it happen. Rajon Rondo to the Clippers. They are in the Western Conference Finals.
Listen. As soon as Rajon Rondo signs with the Clippers, I will come on set and bet any amount that makes that they do not make the Western Conference Finals because they're not better than the Spurs with Rajon Rondo and they're not better than the Warriors with Rajon Rondo. They don't have to be one or both of them. Deal. Tie. I like your tie. So we're going to do a tie. That'll be the tie bet.
No, I don't pay up when I lose. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then what are we betting for?
Because you're going to lose.
Who says that?
I'm going to cheat.
What did I just say? I don't lie. I just told you I don't lie.
And just said I don't pay bets.
I'd rather fight than pay up. That's my issue in life.
Outside. Hey.
That's my issue in life.
Listen,
I'm being honest with you.
At the end of the day, Rajon Rondo's a very, very good point guard. He's a true facilitator. We know that he's played with Doc and had his only success of his NBA career with Doc Rivers.
As Doc had only had his success in the career.
Fair. I'm not taking that away, but the argument I'm making is okay, fine. If it goes there and it happens, I don't think that puts them over the top as a team. I think that they're a good team. I think that they're a 5, maybe 6 seed in the West at best, but they're not going to get to the Western Conference Finals.
Pause. Let me ask you a quick question. What did you think the Rockets would do this year coming into the season? Before obviously you know what happened now in revision season, but what did you think the Rockets would do? Did you think they would be a top 3 team in the Western Conference?
4 or 5.
I thought they would be a top 3 team because I felt James Harden fit that Mike D'Antoni system to a T, and I felt they would work perfectly.
I had them 4 or 5.
Rajon Rondo, trust me, fits that system perfectly, and he fits that team. He fits that. God, I hope it happens. It probably won't. but I hope it happens.
Well, let's just go to break before Kwame catches the Holy Ghost, the Holy Basketball Ghost. The NBA Files here on RBN TV. We'll be right back.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky,
And I'm Eric.
and this is Cooked and Uncorked.
It is
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30 every Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
You work with talent.
Welcome back to NBA Files here on RBN TV. Okay, so this is my favorite time of the show as always. As the 76ers turn, we get to talk about Sixers news.
She should do like a voiceover.
I know, it should have like a
She
thing.
sells that. She sells that.
I like that. Okay, so let's just kick it off because I don't care. He's my favorite. Big baller brand, LeVar Ball. I love him. I don't care. I don't care. Love him. He has some very colorful comments about the Sixers when he was talking to, I think this was Fanatic. Yeah. So, did you guys catch the comments? Like, did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he told him basically stop being Twitter warriors and get in the gym and stay give him a cord.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said.
You know what? This is one of those times I actually kind of agree.
Oh! I was not expecting that.
I know you weren't. I throw curveballs every day.
I was not expecting that, but
this
I'm
is
still
one of those,
knocking curveballs.
This is one of those few times that I agree with LeVar Ball because you know what? Nothing irks me more than people who have so much to say who do absolutely nothing that gives them the right to have something to say. And so you sit here and you hear guys like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons who have combined in an entire 4 years of NBA season time
was
to
crazy
play.
pills.
Right. And in a combined 4 seasons of projected NBA time, played 31 games between the two of them. Ben Simmons hasn't played a single NBA minute. In fact, him and Lonzo Ball have the same amount of NBA legacy time on the court. So you want to sit here and talk about what you're going to do to another grown man and all this? Listen, shut up and play. Shut up and play. I'm sick of the guys on Twitter. I'm sick of the guys all over. Shut up and play. Get out there. I argue that the only way that the Sixers will have any chance of being successful is if Joel Embiid plays north of 50 games, and if you can get Ben Simmons to actually play a whole season and be productive. I don't want to see windmill dunks. I don't want to see you running around in practice with your shirt off. I don't want to see you in a training facility on the weekend.
I don't mind you seeing running around in practice with your shirt off.
Goodbye.
I'm fine with that.
Goodbye. Listen, I'm talking about I want to see production at an NBA level, on a court, in games that matter. I want to see you put the ball in the hoop, do what you've been paid to do as a first-round pick. Both of you, top 3 picks, put this team on your back and get them to the playoffs. Then you can tweet all you want.
All right. We'll make a friendly wager with you. I bet you, Lonzo, I want to make sure I say that. I bet you Lonzo wins more games this year with the Lakers than Joel Embiid plays with the Sixers.
Do you have a big baller brand
Whoa,
t-shirt?
say that again?
I bet you Lonzo's Lakers,
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to throw this at you, even though I should. Lonzo Ball's Lakers win more games right, with him starting than Joel Embiid actually plays with the Sixers.
I'll take that.
So
and
you
I'm going to tell you why,
think
because
Embiid's gonna play
I'm a
more?
Laker fan and I don't see us winning more than 40 games. And I think he
I don't see Embiid playing more than 20 because you know what? They just took the health restrictions
Yeah,
off.
they did. They took them
But,
off.
you know,
They're going to let him play.
I very rarely talk about my time at 97.5 Fanatic Sports Star Radio Show when I was a host there because it was a horrible time. But one thing I learned was Philadelphia is the one city and its fan base is the one area that they care more about being relevant and being off-season champions than being in-season winners. Only in this city would this dude be revered or loved. That wouldn't fly in New York. His Twitter wouldn't fly. You gave him a stat where he tweeted like seven times more games than he's actually played. You know, New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, this nonsense wouldn't fly. Only in Philadelphia is a dude that tweets more and shoots more threes at 7'1", looked at as a franchise player. Think about it. You mentioned it. You mentioned him with his shirt off. You mentioned the tweeter. When have we ever said his numbers during the season?
I was just talking about Ben Simmons with the shirt off.
Well, either way.
Either one.
When have we ever talked? We can't talk about Simmons' numbers on the court, and we don't even remember Embiid's. And he just lost the Rookie of the Year, right? To a second-round pick who's a pastor in his free time. So.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. You was just praying. There's nothing wrong with paying.
You know what?
Free time. Take that back.
No, I'm not taking it back. Because the moral of the story is, you tweeting, you're doing all these things. I'm glad to see a father grab him by his hair and say, "Stop tweeting and get your little butt in the gym." And
nothing little about him. He's 7'2".
You know, his production is little.
Okay.
His production is little, and until you can produce like I learned coming up. You know, you got a nice little car, you got a nice little car, you got a nice little job. Until you become grandpa or until you become HIC, then you go from little to good. So right now he's got a nice little game. He's got a nice little stroke. He's got a nice little repertoire going on. Talking about his shooting. Don't do that. Don't make me get in trouble.
I didn't say anything.
You know, but until he gets it next level, keep playing with him. Until he gets it next level, I don't want to hear any more about him. So I'm going to put right now, before we go to the next segment, we are doing a Joel Embiid free zone. Until he plays back-to-back games, until he plays 3 times in a week, we are in a Joel Embiid zone. He won't play. I guarantee you this mofo don't make it out of training camp.
I disagree.
You can disagree all you want.
Get hurt?
Yes.
He's had no.
Yes.
He's had
that's
nominal wear and tear on his body.
That's the last phase of the game for Everett to jump on board. This dude has been hurt in college practice. He broke his back. Yeah. This dude's been hurt in workouts. He broke his foot. This dude got hurt in the game. All we need is a training camp injury for Everett to come on with a Kwame was right t-shirt on. That's all we need. Because you know what's going to happen. He's going to go up for something. No, better yet, he's going to try to do the show money dance. Right? He's going to pull a groin. He's going to try to play with a pulled groin. He's going to strain a calf. Then after he strains a calf, he's going to extend his knee. And I'm not wishing injury on the dude. I just see it. Call me a soothsayer. I follow tendencies. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
So, Joel Embiid free zone.
Everett, any interest in Andre Iguodala?
For me, no. I mean, I don't think he fits.
Pills.
Okay. I don't think he fits here. They've seen Andre Iguodala. Retreads almost never work out unless you're LeBron James. Listen, him going back there does nothing to make the Sixers better now. It's not going to make them a playoff team. It's not going to put them over the top. Yes, Iggy's won. Yes, he wants to get paid. Yes, the Sixers could overpay. But there are other teams that will ask for his services that make more sense for what it is he's trying to do. I think he wants to compete at a high level. I think he wants to get paid. But I also think he wants to have more of a role. His role at Golden State when they added Durant, you know, it diminished quite a bit because of the fact that now you've got 4 guys that can play instead of 3. So his swing amount of minutes went down because guys could play longer. He wants to go to a team. Maybe the Spurs make sense to him because they don't have a strong wing that can come off. I mean, they're letting guys like Simmons get quality minutes, and Iguodala's better than Simmons. I think he comes in and
they don't have a strong wing outside of They don't have a strong wing outside of
Oh, outside Kawhi. Oh, yeah. Outside Kawhi. I'm talking about their bench. No. You know I'm a Kawhi guy. On their bench, I'm talking about. On their bench, they don't have a strong wing because Ginobili's done. They don't have a strong guy that can come in and be quality.
Some of our watchers, their mothers, also their fathers.
So there's no confusion. Kawhi Leonard, to me, is arguably the best consistent two-way player in basketball. So when I say outside of him is the only reference I'm making in terms of the Spurs. But Andre Iguodala makes sense to the Spurs. There's a couple teams that just make more sense for him in terms of where he's going to go. I think he wants to stay in the West. I don't think he really wants to come back East personally. So for the Sixers, if they can get him, great. I think J.J. Reddick's a better fit. I heard they made him a 1-year, $20 million offer, which was stupid. But, whatever. I mean, fine.
When I read it, it made my tongue itch. I don't get it. I don't get Reddick.
They need an outside shooter who can come off the bench.
So, Kwame, are you still against the Sixers signing Reddick?
They got to spend the money somewhere.
No, you don't.
They gotta hit the NBA.
Why do you
floor.
have to
you're still
spend the
against
money?
They have to hit the NBA floor. You know this. They have to hit the
Yes,
floor.
and they
So they're
find
gonna
a
have to
way to do it.
overpay and give the money to
They
somebody.
find a way
By
to
signing
do
guys
it.
that don't play.
Exactly.
But how does that help them get better?
All right,
This
first
is the
of
year
all-
you want them
first
to
of
turn
all-
around and start winning games, right? Or do you want them to keep? Are they still processing?
No. We disagree there.
Trust the process.
No, we disagree.
They're still processing again?
No, it's not still processing. Let me answer the question.
Please, I'm curious now.
I'll lead it with you. Let me answer the question. First, yes, I'm still against them signing JJ Reddick. I think he's a bad locker room guy. He's created a grease fire everywhere he's went. Dwight Howard went back crazy in Orlando. Who was right there? JJ Reddick. Chris Paul goes back crazy in the Clippers. Who's right there? JJ Reddick. And
So it's at the Omen or something?
he, not only that, he's an unnamed source. And what that means is, if I need a guy that's going to give me a quote and snitch on his teammates, I'm not saying it's JJ Reddick, but there's a consistency pattern there. Luau Deng was the same type of dude, and Danny Ferry blew the whistle on that and got in trouble for it because he used some racial slurs with it. But it's the same thing with JJ Reddick. He is a guy that will tell on you. And that doesn't bode well in the locker room because the players know it. We know for a fact the NBA is a completely different world.
Agreed.
And they will not tell you anything they don't want you to know unless they can go unnamed source. So that's what JJ Reddick brings. Now, as far as Iguodala, you want a guy in that locker room who's a veteran, who can still play, who has the hardware, and who can help these young men become men. I'm going to give you an example. All right? LeBron James, when he came in the league, he played with Darius Miles. They got rid of Darius Miles, who's now bankrupt, and they brought in Eric Snow. Now, Eric Snow's had problems off the court, whatever have you. He just lost, fast forward, LeBron James just lost in the NBA Finals to Steph Curry's team. Steph Curry signs a monster deal. Who's the first dude to go out and congratulate him? LeBron James. Sends tweets congratulating him. Right? Biggest moment of Steph Curry's career, he congratulated, patted him on the back, even though he just lost in the finals. Now, I want to take you back to the conversation we just had. Lonzo Ball gets drafted. Biggest moment in Lonzo Ball's career. What does Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid do? They take shots at him. You're part of a select fraternity. But if you don't know how to conduct yourself, if you don't know how to be a man, you need to have a man show you how to be a man.
I don't think
That's
Iggy's the guy to show anybody
I
that.
think,
Based
you know,
on what? What has Iguodala ever shown you that makes you say that he's the guy that's going to do that?
Because Spencer Hawes is, and you know, it's a great question, so I add some clarity to it. You look at Spencer Hawes, who has strong political beliefs, leans strong to the Donald Trump camp. You never had any issues in Philadelphia when Iguodala was there.
What does that have to do with Iguodala?
Because he was on that team. Just because you don't see it.
But you
doesn't
haven't heard
mean-
anything from Spencer Hawes on any of his beliefs, any other
Yes, you
teams
did.
he's been to since he left.
No, in Charlotte, and when he played for the Clippers, you did.
But when Donald Trump was running for president, Spencer Hawes wasn't with the Sixers.
No, but my point is, and you heard about it when he was when he was running for president, when Mitt Romney was running for president, and you had President Obama at the time. We're so off the track. But the point was, you had a polarizing figure in your locker room who was going against the popular opinion, and that didn't tear the locker room apart. There are other facts that I can talk about that I'm not going to, but Iguodala is a strong locker room presence. And I'll give you another example. Have you ever heard any issues in Golden State about anything? About anything?
Outside of Mark Jackson, no.
Okay. Now, you look at that bench. Who is sitting on that bench in Golden State? Is assistant coach. It's an assistant coach that is openly gay. It's sitting on that bench.
Collins or whatever.
Exactly. And you never heard a word about it.
Outside of Mark Jackson, right.
Well, Mark Jackson isn't there anymore.
Right.
But and Iguodala comes in, and just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
We agree.
He holds the teams together, and he's bad off the court. He's like Sean Kemp. He's got 19 kids, about 20 different
I
women.
was about to say, like, he's never seen a party he didn't like.
But no one walking this surface is perfect. But as far as building a team and teaching Markelle Fultz how to be a young man, teaching Ben Simmons how to be a leader in the basketball community, and possibly helping Joel Embiid find a way to maybe stay healthy, maybe getting Jahlil Okafor to contribute and not get caught up in the hoopla, I think Iguodala gives you that. I know who doesn't give you that, though. I hope Iguodala gives you that. But I know the reality is JJ Reddick's ass don't give you that. Pause. So,
Yeah.
I said a bad word.
Let's reel it back in. Everett. Okay, so who is under the radar free agent? An under the radar free agent. He got me stuttering because he didn't say that word on camera.
Yeah, I'm thinking about who's left. There's nobody really under the radar anymore. I think it's
Gordon Hayward, Trey Burke.
Gordon Hayward. Trey Burke is irrelevant. Okay, Gordon Hayward maybe, but he's not under the radar. He's on everybody's radar because he's already met with the Heat. He's meeting with Boston. He's got to meet with Utah. everybody expects him to go to Boston. He's the top free agent that's available that you can go out and sign that realistically may change teams. So it's not necessarily he's under the radar at this point. I mean, you're talking fringe players. Sean Livingston is a guy to me that probably says under the radar because you don't know what's going to happen.
He already re-upped with Golden State.
And therein is my point.
Well, let me throw Trey Burke out there. The reason why I throw Trey Burke out there, and you're going to jump out of your seat for this. Isaiah Thomas, when he got traded, he was last pick in the draft. I think it was 60th pick in the draft, right? Mm-hmm. It was a guy that could score. Yeah, it was a guy that could score. When he got a chance to get an opportunity to play with little inhibition, he tore the league up as far as the offensive end. I'm not saying Trey Burke can be the next Isaiah Thomas. I'm not saying he will be the Isaiah Thomas, but he has an opportunity to be a benefiting, strong role player on a good team. He can get you buckets. He's a guy, if you just allow him to go out and play, if you put him on a team like maybe Cleveland, that will just roll the ball out, allow him to run a second unit, I think Trey Burke can do that. Look,
Stop. Because we're not going to let you sit here and speak blasphemy on the air and act like Trey Burke wasn't a first-round pick who just came off of a national title run with Michigan. Stop. He went to Utah where he was drafted to be the guy and did nothing. Lost his job. Was sitting on the bench and they gave him away for a box of milk and cookies because he could not play. And you're going to sit here and tell me now he's going to turn into some budding Isaiah Thomas? Stop it.
I didn't say Isaiah wouldn't be the next Isaiah Thomas. You just said
he can't be close to Isaiah Thomas. He played as a first-round pick and did nothing.
You just said the Sixers should sign a dude that averaged 11 points a game, right? Trey Burke averaged 10. So you're telling me that
They don't need a point guard. They need a guy who can shoot 40% from three. They need a guy who can shoot 40% from three off the bench. He's better than Nick Stauskas. He's better than Nick Stauskas. We agree or disagree?
Who?
JJ Redick is better than Nick Stauskas.
No.
Listen, end this show now. I'm done. This guy's talking crazy.
No.
JJ Redick's not better than Nick Stauskas.
No.
Goodbye.
The only reason why we hate Sauce is because he got that stupid behind nickname. JJ Redick gets gotten more opportunities and he's played on better.
I like that.
Better teams.
And they played the song.
He's played on better teams. You put Nick Stauskas on the same teams, he could probably do
Stab me with a spoon.
But you know what? Don't steal my line.
Stab me with a spoon.
That is my line. That is when Everett Terry tries to tell me JJ Redick is a good pickup. I say stab me with a spoon.
Listen, playing on bad teams helps you. You know why? Because you get all the time to shine with no consequence.
Playing on bad teams does not help.
You get all the time to shine with no consequence of failure. He played for the freaking Sacramento Kings,
and
who had no two guard and could do nothing. He went to the Sixers with no pressure.
I'm saying JJ Redick sucks and Nick Stauskas sucks just as bad. They both equally suck. If you want to say
JJ Redick's getting a $20 million offer.
I don't think he sucks.
All right.
She wanted to see if she could get that off.
Yeah, no, I just had to. You guys like screaming anyway. So speaking of people who are undervalued, who is overvalued and who should be avoided?
What's the name I got right there?
Trey Burke, overvalued. Trey Burke, overvalued.
Number one on my list.
The fact that Trey Burke made this show makes him overvalued.
No, the fact that JJ Redick is even being mentioned on a team that can't evaluate talent should tell you just how good he is.
He has a role. They need a shooter. They didn't get Monk. They need a shooter to space the floor of the second unit.
They signed Kyle Korver for crying out loud.
Kyle Korver's 37. I don't want to retread.
Can't do anything. JJ Redick's on his third team.
I don't want to retread.
Define retread, because if you're on your third team, you damn sure are a retread.
No, he's not. I'm talking about a guy who's played here before, left, and went somewhere else and came back. That's a retread.
Okay, so he didn't manage to make it to Philly, but he hit Orlando and he hit the Clippers, and then going to come to Philly. So he's not a retread. He's just a has-been or never was.
Okay.
You want to talk about stab me with a spoon? You want to get a dude who's an undersized shooting guard who can't get open with the ball in his hand in a league that's dominant.
His job is to get open with the ball. His job is to catch and shoot. He can move without the ball.
Last I checked, we just drafted a guy who's going to dominate the ball and who's going to use another guy that's going to dominate the ball. So why the H-E double hockey since you're going to bring a guy who can't move the ball?
Sixers roster?
Who's he going to defend? Who's he going to defend?
Listen, you said that and they drafted Markelle Fultz. Listen, my argument is...
And so they're going to bring in another guy that's
he's off the bench.
You got a hole in the bucket.
He's not a starter.
At $20 million, he's a starter, bro.
He's not a starter.
$20 million, he's a starter.
Give
me one person on the bench that makes $20 million. I'll wait. Felicia, pause.
They're trying to fill in guys now.
No,
give me
one player who's rolling
the Biombo.
Oh, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Got
the hell out of here.
Got him.
And he don't even make $20 million. I believe he's in the 19.
You don't want to keep screaming he made $80 million over 4 years. That's $20 million.
No, I didn't say 4 years. I said he got an $80 million contract.
Okay, all right.
Different.
Bismack Biyombo.
So these guys taking the same crazy pills as LeVar Ball. Y'all are taking the same medication as LeVar Ball.
Face that JJ Redick should be in a basketball team.
We'll be right back, NBA Files here on RBN TV.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky,
And I'm Eric.
and this is Cooked and Uncorked.
It is
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30 every Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
Jimmy Butler thing. All right.
Welcome back to the NBA Files here on RBN TV. The guys took a chill pill, so now they're more relaxed. Thank
Right.
God, because I felt this mess would have hit me in my face. I'm not playing. But y'all keep y'all hands
See, my hands way down
in
here.
your sides. Okay, Everett.
Yes.
So Jimmy Butler pulled a Mike Jones. He gave his number out at the press conference. He said if y'all have a problem with him, y'all can call him. I called the number.
I was
It
about to say,
busy.
tell the
I
full
called.
story.
Of course, everybody and your sister called him to say, "Hey, Jimmy,
I
can I
did not.
I called. I was trying to get a statement for the show.
Listen,
I called.
that's a
As
Metro burner.
journalist.
That's a Metro burner
I
throwaway
know. I was like,
phone.
that's his second phone. He just threw
He
that.
don't care about that.
Oh, well.
Probably gave it to his kids. Probably his kids.
She said she's trying to get a quote for his
I
show.
was
You're
like,
such
you
a
know,
liar. You're such a liar.
I did.
Just gonna say, Jimmy, can you do a dunk without a shirt? Can you do a dunk without?
I want to show you my reel. I want you to see my reel. I host a show. We talk about basketball. I want you to see my reel.
Yeah, Jimmy, do you want to come on down? Jimmy, you come to the NBA Files here. Come on down. I was calling him. It was professional. It was professional.
I'm sorry.
I swear. Kwame. I mean, you're not Kwame. You're
No, I'm not. Listen, I like the fact that he's that bold. I think it was nice and humorous. I think what was even better was the fact that when he went to Minnesota, he released a statement and sent it to the Chicago. Said, Chicago, I want to thank you for taking me in 2011 and making me the player that I developed into. He said, and I hope that I drop 40 on you every time I play you. Woo! What a better way to give him a backhanded compliment than to tell him, I look to drop 40 on you every time I play you. Listen, that alone says to me that he did not like the way he was traded, that he was pissed off about it, and while he was grateful that he got to the NBA to play the game that he loved, he gonna give it to him every time he can, and I love that attitude about him.
He was playing spades with Dwayne Wade when he found out they got traded. He was playing spades with him.
Terrible.
You know, look,
Cutthroat
we
business.
talk about this all the time, and the first time we dealt with each other, there's a conversation that stayed between you and I, but you learned at that moment that I was an alpha, and I knew you were an alpha, and I told you needed to bring that alpha to the show, and we'll keep the conversation with you. Alphas are wired differently.
We are.
You know what I mean? And he basically told everybody, say it with your chest. Here's my number, call me.
He said my phone is in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Actually, like it's on me right now.
Say it with your chest. And I love that. The 140 character coward crowd has created this anonymity where it's okay to say things behind a keyboard. And it's okay to just do those things. I'm part of that cloth that's cut where, you know, if you're not feeling me or feeling me, let it be known.
Nah, he
let's
texted
that.
them rude. You get a rude text. I got rude text messages from Kwame.
Oh, I don't get any rude texts from Kwame. We only talk
Do
sports.
not tell that lie. Do not tell that lie. I have never rude text messaged you. I got a light-skinned thumbs up from Felicia when I asked her a 5-page question about the show. So do not tell that lie. But the back page story is alphas are wired differently. And we'll see. Look, I still don't think they're a playoff team.
With Jeff Teague, they are. They answered the question at point guard. You were concerned about the fact that they got
I like
Rubio.
Tyus Jones. You misread the text message. I like Tyus Jones. We should probably put text messages up here because we talk about him so damn much.
We agree.
But you think
Producer?
I text you? You think? Tell her how much I text you throughout the day.
Anything breaking NBA news?
Yes.
Hey, alert! And then he goes through the whole thing, and I'm like, what? I didn't even get it yet. He's like, oh, no, I got it on like 3 different sources. It's already confirmed. And then 10 minutes later, it'll hit me. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then here it comes across my ticker. I'm just like...
And Everett will get back to me and give me an 8-page dissertation about why I don't know anything. So it is not a one-way conversation.
No, I will.
But no, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I like Tyus Jones.
I don't like him over Jeff Teague.
I like Jeff Teague, and we talked about that too.
I think Tyus Jones is a great bench player, but I think Jeff Teague.
You told me not to bang on the table, but they should have been drafted by the Sixers instead of Drew with a J Holiday.
Listen, he just got $150 million. He's doing something.
I promise people.
Money is not always everything. It doesn't necessarily equate to somebody has talent or they're good at what they do or anything.
Money doesn't legitimize you. There are people with money that are much more of a disaster. See Paris Hilton. You know what I mean? Versus people who are struggling check to check. I think the bigger thing is that, as far as I'm concerned, there is a disassociation. Because you have 2 guys that are supposed to be your future, and you just brought a guy in who's in his prime. So somebody's going to get kicked off the boat. And I told you it's going to be Andrew Wiggins for Wiggins.
I don't think so.
It's going to happen. It is basketball. It's basketball.
They have to build around Cat, we agree. But I think that Jimmy Butler can teach Wiggins how to be a pro. You talked about locker room presence. You talked about building a mantra of winning and a culture of winning. I think Jimmy Butler can infuse that into Andrew Wiggins.
What do you think he's going to teach Wiggins that Wiggins doesn't already do well?
How to play defense consistently, night in, night out.
Defense is heart and competitive fire.
Agree. And
Andrew Wiggins is lacking in those meters.
Maybe. We don't know because he's never been pushed by the right person he has to respect. Name me one person on the team he had to respect. Everywhere he's been, like Carmelo, he's always been the star. He's always been the guy.
Cat is he was star on that team, and I think that
right, but Cat doesn't play the same position as him, so you can't sit there and tell me.
Levine. That's why he led the league. That's why he played more minutes.
Listen, if you put me and Zach LaVine in the same room, and I'm Andrew Wiggins, I'm not listening to what Zach LaVine has to say. Telling me how to play defense.
No, he may not, but his coach will. That's what.
That's where Tibbs comes in.
But
you have to respect Jimmy Butler. You have to respect Jimmy Butler. He's top tier player at his position.
But I just don't think he has that alpha in him. I understand what you're saying. I do.
Teague makes them better.
Teague does make them better.
And makes them a playoff. I think they're 45 wins. They're in the playoffs.
I think Andrew Wiggins is an anchor, and I think eventually brings the ship down. Should be safe.
All right, so let's move on. Should the Warriors be concerned about losing Durant?
Not after re-upping Curry. I think that was the big piece. I don't think they have any worries at all. I think that this plan has been laid out in a way where it's designed for them to be able to keep the core of this team together. Now, they're going to lose some pieces along the way. The core is going to be Curry, Durant, Draymond, and Clay. Okay. I think it's set up for them to keep that core guys together. Okay. I think if anybody drops off, it could be Clay, but I think if they're losing Iguodala, they're going to need Clay more because they're not going to have that rotational guy that can play the 2 or the 3 to supplement. So maybe they play Clay, give him a break early in the game, and then use him when Durant comes out. So they always have one of their 2 perimeter scorers to play along with Curry or Livingston on the floor. I just think they've done it right where they've set it up that they can keep this core together for a while. They're all in the prime of their careers, all young. They have nothing but ceiling in front of them. None of them are 30. This is a window for them where they could be dominant for the next 4 to 5 years. I don't think Durant's going to blow that up to go to like Washington or back to OKC or wherever else he goes.
I don't think he would be broken.
I know you're going to wrap right after this, so I'll make it quick. I would be concerned. I know you're making faces, and you have a right to make a face, but I would be concerned if I was Golden State until he signs that dotted line because this is a dude that's known flimsy like the wind.
He's left one team in his career. One team.
And then LeBron did the same thing.
And left twice.
And they just asked LeBron to re-up, and he said, I can't know if I can make that commitment. I can tell you, as a dude that struggles with commitment, when I used to read videos, I would be like, I don't know if I can bring it back on that day. Just give me a couple days. I can't promise that.
Yeah, I might have to just pay the late fee.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
you're aging yourself because a Blockbuster hasn't been around a really long time. That's what I'm let you know. Really, really aging yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know Redbox didn't count as renting videos.
Ooh, Redbox stream, man. Get hit.
Oh goodness, whatever.
Thank you so much for watching the NBA Finals here on RVN TV. If you want to catch up, you can visit rvntv.tv and check out any old episodes and these guys fighting. For Felicia Michelle, Kwame Fisher-Jones, Everett Terry. See you next week.